don't expect it to be too much different.
Yeah.
But was that good or bad?
What, that he needed money? Or
No.
that I didn't hear from him?
That you didn't hear?
Well, he was all worried that it was so close to home, you're gonna, I'm like,
He thought you were gonna
Really?
interfere in his life.
right.
Yeah.
See, I think they don't understand, we're just as ready for them to go as they're ready to go. Yeah,
Take your stinking Jimbo's with you.
yeah. My oldest son didn't become normal again. Well, he's still not totally normal, but he's getting there, he's 28.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, maybe in a couple more, well, he's supposed to be having him and his fiance are having a child in June, so I think that'll really be,
That'll blow him up
that'll
real
be a
quick.
big reality check right
There you
there,
go.
right?
Right, here you go, this is yours.
So just knowing that they're expecting a child has already kind of whipped him into shape.
It does that, you go, oh.
Yeah, they start asking you what you think again.
Oh. Yeah.
And I have lots and lots of papers for you to sign. Lots and lots.
Okay. I only got lots of minutes on there this time, don't you?
Yes. Well, yeah. Plus I have some older ones, older minutes, only because I don't know if you ever signed them or not. 'Cause
I don't think
have-
so.
So I just did a whole bunch and we'll figure it out.
We'll just sign them all.
Yeah. I put the date on them already.
Yeah, well, there's
It's-
three previous,
Yeah, but we passed some other minutes that I didn't sign yet.
Mhm.
yeah, well, shame on me.
Well,
No,
she
they were
didn't
trying to
have
catch
them.
up because we
We're
had a
catching
couple of
up.
special hearings and or special
Yeah,
meetings.
Yeah.
there's a lot going on,
So,
so.
trying to get everything caught up.
Okay, I'm here. Are you?
This is from a long time ago.
Was here.
Now I can compare these rules with the ones that are written in
The
here.
new ones with the new rules?
These are, yeah. Amendments to the UDO. Well, hello there.
Good morning, Miss Florence.
How are you?
I'm here.
Regular meeting first?
And
She
you
said
think
they
it's
moved us
morning.
around.
I see that.
I'm not sure where you're sitting now, but I think you're still in the same spot then.
They moved me down there at one time, and then
We want to see if you can read.
Uh-huh.
Did you see your name? Where?
my right or one
You're
yeah,
right.
I think it's right there.
You're in the
You're
right
right.
position. You're right. Unless you want to move somebody, but, you know.
No, not that one.
Unless I want to have an identity crisis.
Oh goody, we have a quorum.
Oh, yeah. Well, not yet.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do right now. Move
Oh,
forward.
yeah. Wouldn't Chuck gonna be here?
I'd
She
imagine.
said, nobody's called, so I said, they'll be here. But anyhow, these are some of the old, there's no date on these papers, so I don't know when I acquired them,
Skydiving.
but.
Are you going to start taking up,
They look old to me like that.
Hang gliding?
no, the other thing, where you wear that jumpsuit and you start jumping out of it.
You don't have a
you just-
typewriter.
You just glide. Like
Oh,
a-
yeah.
flying back.
That's a
They look
wingsuit.
like they're all tight.
I can
Well,
actually
they were.
wingsuit anytime.
These are
I-
14
I'm,
years.
I'm licensed to
Well,
do that, but
14 years,
um,
yeah.
Doesn't
We didn't
it
have
really
all the
doesn't, not at this point anyway.
electronic equipment that we have now. It's
To skydive?
sophisticated stuff.
Yes, yeah. And if you have different levels of licensing, and so
Members of the audience
your
may
wind
speak
limits
only
change,
when
you know,
addressed by the chair or a member of the commission.
large size of formations that you
Still
can
that way.
participate in, things like that. Your different licenses allow you
Try to be kind of
more
lenient.
things to do. In case you get bored with just falling, you know.
I want to fall one time, but I'm
We
always
would never stop anybody.
They had a fellow down there just a couple of weeks ago, 93, I
We
think.
just let them go on
And
and on.
I tell you, it's exciting seeing someone that old.
You
Just
say that,
Oh, could it be
repeating it over and over.
yes,
Yeah.
Just pass it along.
uh-huh.
That's wasting time.
Yeah.
There's Jessica.
It's really quite a safe sport. You know, it's like so many things. The more dangerous it is, the more safety precautions
Blonde that just walked.
that are in place.
Virgin.
So,
I would imagine.
yes.
So you can go.
Good evening.
I mean, he said there's three different licenses.
Pretty good for
So you can
windy
go to
day.
which one, you have the first, second.
I, I actually have an ED license, which is the highest license.
Trying to be
The only other that I can go to would be a pro category.
Well, the
And
Equinox only said that it was spring.
I can do demonstration
Well, we haven't
jumps
had any winners.
as long
so I
as it's
figured it
only
must
a
have-
half
That summer
open,
was supposed to be here too.
say, arena.
Wait till next week.
But a complete
It's supposed to
bowl,
warm up.
I have to get this other, I have to get another rating in order to go inside of a bowl.
Ours would be
kind
80.
of thing.
Okay.
So,
That sounds like
yes.
next Friday.
Fun stuff. No, I saw somebody, they were doing,
17.
well, they sent
Dress
news.
comfortably.
Okay.
Yeah, they had a guy who was doing the
Wing
squirrel
suit.
jump.
Yeah, squirrel suit.
Yeah.
Squirrel is actually a brand name
Oh, is it?
for one of, the suit
I was down there
manufacturers.
2 weeks
It's a
ago,
flying
and it
squirrel.
was
Uh-huh.
That's what we're gonna.
around 80,
The
82.
big deal is
It was
it's a
comfortable
5.5 and
outside, very nice.
It's interesting, but.
My brother turned 80.
Now, something I probably won't ever get involved with is base jumping, whether it be antennas, buildings, a cliff.
The kid
El Capitan,
invited people that he
I
had
probably
gone to
won't
school with, grown
venture
up
that
with,
point.
that
I
Ted
might do a
hadn't seen in
bridge.
years,
When you go
30
off a bridge,
years or
you
more.
still have 360
So this
degrees
was like a
underneath
big
you.
reunion.
When you go off a
Seeing
cliff,
these kids that were,
you-
you saw them
you have
this big,
180
and now
at
suddenly
that
they're
point,
Yeah.
because you want to fly away from the cliff and not swing back into it.
Right, and that way it could bring you back into
Yeah,
it.
it could bring you back into it.
And then you have to learn off the bush.
But they're still young enough to stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning, which I objected
Yes,
to.
yes.
Didn't have.
And that's where a lot of the license steps, recognizing the different terrains of what it's gonna do when you get down there. So it's
Yeah.
pretty in-depth, actually.
This is one of the longest sets of minutes I think I've ever done. Corey, you're gonna have to quit talking so dang much. The pages are
You
getting too
know, I
big.
happen to see your name in there much more than mine on this.
It's typo.
Is that-
Typo.
is that it?
Tally on there?
You had two meetings in February? I attended one. I didn't know there had been another one.
I think the,
One was
It
a
was-
work
it
study
was-
and one was a regular meeting, but they
It was
were
all
the
of
same
It was
night.
the same night. Yeah.
I'm like, we'll make one after the other.
I know, and they,
I remember that now.
we'll have code enforcement.
And there was some word of meeting with the
Yes,
Board
we
of
have that.
Adjustments.
Terribly.
We'll get,
You
Don't
know,
you guys
combined
just-
meeting with
It
them,
goes up
because
and
some of
down.
this stuff's
So much.
Hmm.
One minute I'm trying to farm a couple of guys out, the next minute I
Yeah.
have 5 more.
I don't know if they'll be
And the
meeting.
jobs are all
with
little.
They'll be meeting with.
And the guys burn through them, and there's no money being made, it's
It's
just
in the
turns
UDO, so
out.
we have
Yep.
to recommend or not recommend the changes to the
Yeah.
council.
I'm taking in May
Yeah.
5 trucks to auction.
Well, the changes
And
may
I'm
look
actually
minor,
kind
but
of
I'm sure they're
downsizing
going
a
to
little bit.
impact.
I've got 3 really good drivers. The wife and I both drive, and we're just gonna kind of keep it
We ready?
That's
profitable.
Yeah, that you do better.
Okay, we're going to call to order the April 7th, 2015 meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. I would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Corey, would you like to lead it?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Well, good evening. Commissioner Pasiak,
Here.
Commissioner Sloan,
Here.
Commissioner Mendoza,
Here?
Commissioner Merritt,
Here.
and Chair Rowich.
Here.
Thank you.
Next item is minutes, approval of minutes from the September 16th, 2014 regular meeting.
It was a special meeting.
Does anyone have any comments from the minutes?
My comment is that it was a special meeting. It wasn't a regular meeting.
I was absent.
Ms. Mayday, is that true? Should we
Yes,
be
it is.
approving a special meeting?
No, No, my minutes say a regular meeting.
Everything on the website said special. And it was
That
called,
wasn't the first Tuesday.
and it was called as a special meeting.
Yes, you're correct, it should say special meeting, and not regular.
Any other changes to the minutes?
The only change I have is at the bottom of page 7 on my remarks. My concern was that the signers did not know what they were signing.
Oh, did not know?
Yeah, because the petition was
That's
just saying windmill, and then there was one sentence inserted about the pad. And then the other comment I had was like where they submitted 666 signatures, which is on page 4. I had commented that some of those sheets just had phone numbers on them, and some of the signatures were from Scottsdale Page and other areas that were not in the locale. And with
Was
those,
there a specific comment?
well, I know I made the comment, but I don't have the tape, and it's been 6,
No,
7
is it on
months.
here?
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
All right.
That was my concern, is that when I reviewed the petition, there were a lot of discrepancies, or else what I saw as discrepancies. And those are my only comments about the minutes.
Any other comments on the minutes? Do we want to see corrections to the minutes before we adopt them, or does someone want to make a motion to adopt the minutes?
Commissioner, do you feel like you want to amend the minutes with wordage?
I would like to see some note somewhere that, one, it was a special meeting, and two, that I voiced concerns about the petition. And then also my comment about people did not really know what they were signing.
And I do remember those comments being made.
On page, oh, no, I guess maybe not. On page 7, your remark was that the petition had some signatures out of town limits and other irregularities. But that doesn't cover the gist of your comments.
1 second, let me get back to the page. 7?
At the bottom of page 7, second to the last dot, Commissioner Pasiak remarked that the petition had some signatures out of town and other
okay.
irregularities. Does that cover your?
That would cover my concern, but the sentence structure also needed to be changed because it's not clear that I felt people did not know what they were signing because of how the petition was structured.
So we could amend them to include did not know there,
That would be fine.
and then amend the title to special.
To special meeting? With those two correction items? You be comfortable?
With those two corrections, I recommend approval.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes with the corrections included.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item, and one abstention. Item 4B, approval of minutes from February 3rd, 2015 regular meeting. Any comments on the minutes?
I didn't find anything discrepant.
If not, Chair will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 4C, approval of minutes from February 3rd, 2015 work-study session.
You call for the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Any comments on the minutes?
Not from me.
The chair will entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes, the work-study minutes of February 3rd as written.
Second?
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, staff report.
No report at this time.
Thank you. Item 6 is public hearing. Rezone of approximately 40 acres generally located at 855 Auction Drive from its current zoning district, agricultural residential 4-acre minimum AR4 to commercial heavy CH zoning.
There we go. Good evening, Commissioners. Before you, you have an application by the Smire Livestock LLC to rezone the Prescott Livestock Auction from AR4 and a conditional use permit to commercial heavy. Currently, this property is zoned AR4, which is agricultural residential 4-acre minimum. The purpose of this district is to be able to preserve rural neighborhoods and residential development rather than heavy use like a commodity scale livestock auction. The surrounding uses are largely grazing land and other industrial style uses. This is what the site looks like right now. This area, all of the surrounding area is currently used for grazing purposes. The actual site is about 5 miles from 89, and the proposed zoning will bring the underlying use, will match the underlying use rather than using the conditional use permit to perpetuate it. This auction house has been in existence for about 10 years now. We've had no complaints about their use. We've had no complaints about any smell or any noise. It was approved on, what, I lost my place. Oh, it was approved upon the adoption of ordinance 05628 on December 8th of 2005. And the permit expires in 2016. In advance of that, Mr. Smire would like to consider rezoning this property. The way the original conditional use permit was adopted, they can't do any other, they have to renew it every 5 years from this point forward. They had, which is backwards from how you usually do it. The initial approval was for 10 years, and then now they have to renew it every 5 years. The purpose of a conditional use permit, as most of you know, is to allow a use that may or may not necessarily fit into an existing zoning designation, but with certain conditions placed on it, hence the name conditional use permit, they can fit in with the neighborhood and surrounding uses. The conditional use permit in this use really should have been commercial heavy zoning to begin with. It's created a spot zoning situation where you have a use that clearly does not belong in an AR4, an agricultural residential 4-acre minimum setting, but rather in a commercial heavy setting. You're talking about a livestock auction that has heavy truck semis that haul large numbers of cattle in and out and in and out and in and out. So they turn over quite a bit of agricultural commodities, which is why we went to the CH. It's an allowed use there to have the livestock auction as an sale of agricultural commodities. The commercial light district did not, we looked at doing commercial light, but there was nothing that we could find that would be even close to this sort of use for a heavy livestock auction like this. They were more lighter commercial uses like you would see in town. The surrounding uses out here, like I said, immediately are grazing. There is a slaughterhouse. nearby, which is zoned commercial heavy, and then the gravel mining and batch plant that is just west of the subject property is currently operating in SR2. It was in operation when it's annexed into the town, and so it just continues to operate as a legal non-conforming use. Given the scale and intensity of this facility, the staff supports rezoning it to commercial heavy, as it is really a commercial heavy use rather than a conditional use in a residential neighborhood. It has a land use designation of future growth area, industrial, agribusiness, and contained planned communities. Clearly, it meets two of those. It's an industrial scale operation, and it is an agribusiness that is currently in existence. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. I expected Mr. Smyer and Mr. Roberts this evening, but they may have gotten sidetracked.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any other conditions on the conditional use permit other than the time?
No.
They just let them, okay.
We're seeing quite a bit of this now because banks have gotten a lot fussier about lending. So when business owners try to sell property that is approved under conditional use, because there isn't a chance that that use could be revoked, banks won't lend on them anymore. So we have a lot of these sorts of uses where you have something that was zoned under a conditional use permit that, like I said, really should have been a commercial use to begin with. And then now the owners are stuck. They can't sell it. They can't refinance it. The banks won't touch them. So we're seeing this. This is not the only one we have.
Does this not, this fits in with the general plan and trying to create some areas outside of the town off the highway for industrial use? Is that
Right.
correct?
This is exactly where you would expect to find something like this. There's very little residential development. I think the closest is Haystack, and that's a good mile away almost. So it is a good location for this. They're back even off the Perkinsville Road. So they're remote enough that they're going to have no impact on the surrounding neighbors. The three surrounding property owners all submitted letters of support rather than having a neighborhood meeting. There were only 3 of them, so.
Once it is granted to the commercial heavy zoning, though, it doesn't necessarily have to maintain being a stockyard. Any commercial heavy zoning business could then go in there.
Right. You could have a gravel pit, which is like what you have right down the road with a batch plant. You could have a bottling plant. You could have some sort of light manufacturing, something like that. But given the scale and the size of the cattle pens and everything else that's there, somebody would think long and hard about tearing all that out.
Sure.
Any other questions for staff?
Are there any stipulations, changes that they're going to have to do? The signage changes, the dust-free stuff, the
So
dedication of properties, and anything
we're
like
not
that?
going to require them to dedicate right away because they're so remote. And frankly, we have enough road to maintain. We don't want that on top of it right now. In terms of other things like signage, their signage is already in compliance. They already have signage there. They maintain a dust-free surface. If they decide to add on and pull a building permit, then they would have to pave the portion that is not currently paved so that there is a solid surface from the road, the auction drive, to their parking. Their parking's already paved. So it would just be, you know, a 12-foot wide strip.
Okay, so they're basically in compliance as of right now.
Correct.
So, okay.
Anything else? Okay, then we'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone here that would like to speak for or against? No? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion. Make a motion to forward ordinance number 15-794 rezoning approximately 40 acres generally located at 855 Auction Drive from AR4 agricultural residential 4-acre minimum to commercial heavy with a recommendation for approval.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 6B, amendments to the Unified Development Ordinance, Section 1, Administration, subsection 1.1, short title, subsection 1.4, Planning and Zoning Commission, subsection 1.5, Board of Adjustment.
Before you, you have the proposed text amendments for the sections of the UDO that pertain to appointments to the Planning and Zoning Commission and the Board of Adjustments. We have gone through, working with the attorney, and rewritten quite a bit of this portion of the UDO. Whoops. In short, the major changes are about the same as what we discussed at the last meeting. For planning and zoning, it memorializes compliance with Chapter 35, which is the ethics of the town code. It clarifies conditions under which commissioners must recuse themselves, changes the number of absences by a commissioner before removal can be considered, and it establishes the alternate member that we discussed before. For the Board of Adjustment, we, again, pretty much the same. The only difference is it adds a section about the prohibition on ex parte communications for Board of Adjustments. This is an important addition because the Board of Adjustments is a quasi-judicial board, and they cannot interact with the public about cases that are before them. So we put language in there to remind and reinforce that. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Are these changes going before the Board of Adjustment, so they're aware of the changes? No?
Well, they will be, once they're made.
Once they're made?
Mhm.
Okay. Any other questions for staff? Okay, this is a public hearing, so we'll open the public hearing. If there's anyone that would like to speak. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. I make a motion to forward ordinance 15-795 amendments to the Uniform Development Ordinance, Chapter 1, Administration Procedures, with a recommendation for approval.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. No non-public hearing items, no discussion items. Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. We're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we'll start the study session.
Okay.